Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, as it should. All right, we got a press conference that we are all getting ready for, revolving around Rex Heuermann, the Gilgo Beach SKer. This is going to be a very interesting one because we're starting to hear some new information. We might be hearing some new information about allegedly two possible victims connected to this monster that we're going to be talking about here very briefly. Apparently, we got this press conference coming up very soon, which of course I'm still looking for to see where it's actually going to be popping off. That's the one thing that's really annoying. I wish these news media outlets and all that would just say, hey, we're going live with this thing at this particular time, so on and so forth. Go to our channel or go here to see it, right? That's one thing that's really annoying about it. But I'm keeping an eye out for it because, of course, we want to know what's going on. And there may be two unknown people, from my understanding, connected to this whole tragedy. So let's get into this, guys. But before we get all the way into it, hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right, especially if you're watching on the TikTok, be sure to show some love. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, hit that reaction button. Hit that follow button if you're watching on all these platforms, please and thank you. Crush it. All right. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching on my main channel on YouTube. Please go over to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. All right. There's been a lot of new updates revolving around what happened yesterday afternoon, on Trump's golf course. That I just dropped a video on some of that last night. There's more that's going to be coming out later on today over there as well. So be sure to subscribe to the secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. All right. Trying to get to 10,000 to 10K over there. So subscribe, takes 2 seconds and it's free. All right. Of course, if you want to support the channel, hit that join button down below. Become a member, of this channel. That'd be amazing. Go check out my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. And of course, we got merch. Okay, so go to pascalmerch.com. We got some really great Halloween stuff. We got some really great holiday stuff coming around the bend as well. So take a look at it. I'm sure there's something in there that you'll love. Okay. Anyway. We have got to get straight into this because in about 16 minutes, we are going to be hearing a press conference from in regards to this investigation with Rex Heuermann. He is the one, okay? He is the one that is locked up right now and is tied to the name, the Long Island serial monster. I got to use these code words. And of course, the other name is the Gilgo Beach serial monster as well. Okay. So he's already been tagged, or he's already been connected to unaliving 6 individuals so far. There is a lot of other names or a lot of other victims that were found along Gilgo Beach that have not been connected to him as of yet. Now, we understand that they are doing everything they can to find out what's really, really going on here. Hopefully, we'll find out more information. Hopefully, all the victims that were found in Long Island, all along the Gilgo Beach and beyond, because there's a possibility that he did more. He's connected to more tragedies than just on Gilgo Beach. But hopefully, he's going to be connected, to a whole lot more. All right. And again, this is some crazy stuff. I mean, just a few months past, we had one of a lawyer that was deeply connected to this whole thing, speak on the show. He did a press conference saying that the alleging that some of the family members may have known about these things, specifically his daughter, which is a wild, wild piece of information. And of course, we have to take all that with a grain of salt because we don't know if that's absolutely true or not. I look at this person as I look at the family as victims right now, not as partners, okay, not as assailants, not somebody who's out there aiding and abetting. I'm wondering if there's going to be more proof coming out here soon in regards to that. But still, we have this press conference coming up here very, very soon. And some of the things that they're saying is that they're going to be coming out with new renderings, okay? New renderings of victims, okay? So we got some articles we're going to look at. But before this comic disappears on me, hold on. Channel 12. Let me check that because I got my other. Let me see. Let me just see if they have, if they possibly have it as well. That's the thing that, like I said, it's really, really annoying when you are doing these press conferences or, trying to get everything, put together and they can't even tell you, oh yeah, we're going to be live, NBC 13 is going to be live at blah, blah, blah to watch this whole thing. It's really, really annoying. All right. And I'm just going to give you guys a fair heads up for those of y'all who are watching on the TT. You're not going to be able to hear the press conference here. Okay. But when it is done, I will be giving a recap. So, stick around, show some love if you can. Be sure to follow all that stuff. Okay. Just so you guys know, because there's no audio connected to this. All right. Just a heads up. All right. But let's get into this article. All right. Let's take a look at this. So, new sketch of Gilgo Beach victim to be released. All right. Excuse me. A new sketch of the Gilgo Beach victim known as Asian Doe, whose remains were recovered along Ocean Parkway in April of 2011, will be released Monday as authorities ask for help in identifying the person. The sketch will be released at a 10 a.m. soon, just very, very soon, okay, at this 10 a.m. news conference. So Asian Doe, all right, this is what they're talking about, all right? And then, of course, there is, they're alleging that this may be a trans woman. This is what they're speculating right now, okay? But the rendering created by studying the recovered remains is what anthropologists believe the unidentified subject, long described as Asian male or as an Asian male, would have looked like. Interesting, right? So the Gilgo Beach Task Force will publish the sketch of the biological male's remains found off Ocean Parkway in 2011 as they seek to identify the individual. The man was found wearing a bra and may have identified as a woman. The remains were believed to have been at the location for the last 5 years before being discovered. Now, they have skeletal remains, or they had at that time when they were able to find this Asian Doe. When they were able to find the remains, they found skeletal remains. So they used those remains. They did everything they could, and they found out, okay, this was a biological male. These are biological male remains, okay? And so now they're trying to find out who actually is this person. And it's interesting because ain't nobody stepped forward so far, okay? Out of the many, many years. Again, these remains were found in April of 2011. That's a long time. And still nobody has said, hey, I'm looking for my son, or maybe I'm looking for my daughter. I'm looking for my friend, whatever it may be, right? Still nothing. But yes, a rendering of of this Asian Doe would be amazing, right? Because then some people who have been trying to find their loved ones for this particular loved one for a long time may be able to look at this and go, oh my Lord, that's my friend. Or we've been looking for this particular person for a long time, so on and so forth. So again, I'm curious about what's going on here, right? I'm very, very curious about this whole situation. And again, we've been saying, hey, there's going to be more people getting connected to Rex Heuermann for sure. Okay. And it looks like that's actually we're about to get another one. It looks like, right? As long as they're able to identify this particular individual. That's the only problem. They haven't been able to yet. And it's been 13 years. Have mercy. 13 years, guys. That's a long, long time. Okay. With nothing. So here's another one, just so we could take a look at this too. Okay. So they're going to be releasing new renderings of possible victim. Okay. So new details are expected to be released today. So in this investigation. So Tierney, the county DA, okay, Tierney, is scheduled to hold a press conference at 10 a.m. from the police academy in Brentwood. All right. Watch live on CBS New York. Yay. Thank you. See, CBS New York. Let's see. And it's funny because I had this one up. Hold on, guys. Just grabbing this so I can have it ready to go if they really are doing it live. Because right now I don't see nothing on there. And they start in 7 minutes. So we'll see if that actually happens. But moving on. Actually, hold on, guys. So, hold on. So, moving on, let me just get this here. Let's see what this does. Sorry, trying something new, guys. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna let that cook. All right. So again, so this is supposedly happening in about 6 minutes, this press conference, okay? Tierney shares details with Newsday, all right, saying his office has renderings of a male victim of Asian descent whose remains were found in 2011 off Ocean Parkway. The investigators released a sketch of the victim that that year, and have said they believe he passed 5 to 10 years earlier. So he's been out there for a long time, guys. He's been out there for a minute before he was actually found, which is even crazier to me. So that also shows that Rex Heuermann, if he's connected, which he clearly is connected to this, okay? He clearly did this. All right. You can't tell me that there's multiple monsters running around discarding remains in the same area. That's just insane to me. OK, it's not there's no way there's a coincidence like that, in my personal opinion. But that shows to you that if it was 5 to 10 years earlier, and you got to remember, that's what, early 2000, like very, very early 2000s. This man has been on a rampage for a minute, hiding in plain sight for a very, 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 very long time, which of course is, I mean, that should be considered terrifying to a lot of us, right? That this guy's been living in plain sight, doing all that he's been doing, having kids, running a business, doing all this crazy stuff, and also doing this right under people's noses, right in front of them, right? So terrifying to think something like that, for sure. All right. So they said he was likely in his late teens or early 20s, about 5 feet 6 inches tall, and had close cropped hair. He was dressed in women's clothing and may have been an SW, an S worker, okay? Officials said at the time. We're hoping maybe someone will remember a person who looked like him that disappeared in the time frame when he passed away. No one's been charged in his demise, in this particular victim's demise. Heuermann faces charges in 6 other situations, 6 other tragedies, spanning from 1993 to 2011, and is pleaded not guilty, which, by the way, I mean, that is just stupid. He might as well just fess up. Let's be real. Dude should just fess up and go, yeah, I did it. Let me just, let me take it. Okay. Let me take the punishment. Let me take what is coming to me. You see what I'm saying? But no, that's not the case here. He's pleading not guilty. This is insane. And I also think that he did more than just this after 2011. I don't think he just stopped cold turkey for 13 years. I think he did a lot more stuff. That's what I really think. This is a sick, exactly, Raven. This is a sick individual for sure. Okay. So the remains of 11 people were found near Gilgo Beach during those years, and investigators have said Heuermann may be linked to other unalivings. That's what I think. I don't think he stopped. I don't think he just started in 1993. I think there's a lot more. I think there's more even before 1993. I think there's even more after 2011. I don't think it's just in Gilgo Beach. I think that's the other places that he's gone to and has caused tragedies over there. Just people wind up missing out of nowhere. That's just what I truly think. Okay, this is not an individual that I would say is out here trying to do good. Okay, we could definitely agree on that. Sorry, just checking on some things. Okay, so he was arrested in July 14th of 2023. So and he was charged with the unalivings of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. New charges were filed in January connected to the unaliving of Maureen Brainard-Barnes. So this June, he was indicted on M charges in the unaliving of Sandra Castilla and the unaliving in 2003 of Jessica Taylor. So they say Castilla's death was not previously tied to the Gilgo case, and now it is. Like I said, this guy has been doing this for a long time, and he's been doing this stuff he's been doing this for a long time, and he's been up to no good. Real talk. Okay. 1 second. I'm just checking to see. I'm just checking to see if there's anywhere that they got it going on, because I don't see it up here. So 1 second. And I'm telling you right now, there we go. Aha. There we go. It's on. It's on and popping. Let's go.
In this case, as well as others, and just as importantly, we need to provide answers to the families of murder victims. So today we're asking for the public's help in identifying an individual who has been known as Asian Doe. They were found on Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach in 2011, and despite our best efforts, this person still remains nameless. And by nameless, I mean to us, to members of the task force. This person certainly had a life and loved ones and friends who knew them by their name. And it's important that this victim get their name back, and just as importantly, the people who cared for this individual get answers. So we are hopeful that with this new information and the community's assistance, we will be able to identify Asian Doe and bring a resolution to the case.
I turned it all the way up, guys. This is as far as loud as it gets.
Press conference, I just want to thank the task force members who are here. And our ADAs and investigators and analysts. We have NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I want to thank them for their assistance. They're not present at the press conference, but as you'll see, they were integral in with their assistance in this case. In this instance, we also have our partners from the Suffolk County PD, Commissioner Rob Waring. Actually, Rob Waring's to my left. He's sneaky. Chief of Detectives Daryl Simmons, as well as Deputy Inspector Sean Barron and their team of investigators. We have the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. We have the New York State Police, led by Lieutenant St. Drew, and you can hear from Lieutenant St. Drew in a moment. We also have the FBI and their team. We thank them for their assistance. We have Senior Supervising Resident Agent Don Osbacher and some investigators on the Gilgo Task Force. We thank them for their assistance and for their presence. The Secret Service, we want to thank them for their help. They're not present at this press conference, but they've been helping with the electronic evidence. We also have received, in this instance, assistance from the New York City Police Department, who are not here. But again, we want to help. We want to thank the NYPD for helping us gain access to the significant Asian population in the city. Now, before I get into that new information, I just wanted to discuss with you all where you can find the visuals that have been provided to my left. The new information and visuals provided here today will be provided to the press. They will be posted on NCMEC's website and their Help ID Me Facebook page. And again, this is a place where members of the public can go and look at pictures and information concerning missing victims of crime and provide law enforcement with information. There's also a BICAP public webpage and law enforcement repository. BICAP is the Violent Criminal Apprehension Bureau, and that is run by the FBI. And so you could go on their website, provide information, learn information. And of course, it is available right now on my website, the District Attorney's website, as well as our social media. And this information includes updated forensic reconstruction images of Asian Doe, which were provided by NCMEC, descriptions of the clothing of the victim, which he was wearing at the time of death, a picture of the various clothing labels of the clothes that were worn, new genealogical data, as well as information as to the victim's age, height, and gender identity information. Now, with regard to the initial investigation in this case, the remains of Asian Doe were discovered on April 4th, 2011. They were found, the skeletal remains were found on Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach in New York, I believe found in between, just closest to Megan Waterman. The initial examination revealed the following. The victim was a biological male of Asian descent. The victim was between the ages of 17 and 23. So there, he was a teenager or very young adult when the murder occurred, and he was about 5'6" tall, give or take a couple of inches either way. Unfortunately, this victim suffered a violent death. The cause of death was homicide by blunt force trauma. We know the death occurred during or prior to 2006, and that those remains were on Ocean Beach for at least 5 years before being discovered in 2011. So the actual murder occurred based on the forensic examination of the remains in 2006 or earlier. Some of this information is being released for the first time, specifically the descriptions of the clothes that Asian Doe was wearing at the time of death, and that although Asian Doe was a biological male, Asian Doe was wearing exclusively women's clothing. He was wearing a Chrysanthemum brand blue-ribbed short sleeve shirt with a crew neck, size large. He was wearing a Raffaello brand shirt, size 10, and he was wearing a pair of women's pants and a bra, both by the brand Bill Blass. And with regard to the forensic reconstruction images, the task force was able to work with National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, and a forensic artist examined the victim's skull to create the facial reconstructions that you see here. And those reconstructions depict what the victim may have looked like prior to their disappearance and murder. We have two pictures of a person with short hair, one head on and one in the profile, and we have a third picture of an individual with long hair. Because the victim was wearing exclusively women's clothing at the time of death, it is possible that they identified as a woman or were known by others as being a woman. The Gilgo Beach Task Force also utilized genetic genealogy to learn more about this victim's specific ethnicity. It was previously known that this victim was of Asian descent. However, now we know that it is a strong likelihood that the victim is of Southern Chinese descent, Han Chinese descent, and Han Chinese is one of the 56 officially recognized ethnicities in the People's Republic of China. This is a significant development because unfortunately, South Asia is underrepresented in our genealogy databases, meaning there are not a lot of Asian profiles in the database. Therefore, investigative genetic genealogy in this instance is a challenge. It's a challenge to identify this victim, and so far it has proved to be difficult and has provided few leads. Hence, the purpose for us being here today. We're looking for the media's assistance, and we're looking for the public's assistance in helping us provide information on this victim to get this victim's name back. And I'll just come over. These are the pictures of the individual. We have a picture of Asian Doe with short as they would appear with short hair, and a picture of Asian Doe as they would appear with longer hair. Now, with regard to outreach to the community, again, we've leaned on all our partners as we always do, but particularly in this instance, the New York City Police Department and the state troopers. We've asked for the NYPD's assistance in translating this flyer into Mandarin, into Cantonese, into Thai, and into Bahasa, which is an Indonesian language. And the NYPD will further assist in distributing flyers on the ground in the Asian communities across New York City. And again, as we know, there's a significant Asian population in New York City, so we thank them for their help. We've invited several Asian media outlets to be present here in the hopes that they can reach the Asian community directly and provide this information to those communities. Regarding our goals for doing this, this is a call to action. We want to enlist the public's help in trying to identify Asian Doe. With regard to the translations, we hope that the public and the Asian media outlets will further assist us in translating and disseminating this information into additional Asian dialects, which will further aid in the process of identification. Again, this person had a name, this person had family, this person had friends. We're reaching out to anyone who might have known this individual to help us with that identification. Again, I would just add with regard to DNA databases, those who would like to help identify Asian doe or any other victim or missing persons in the Asian or any other community to help, you can upload your DNA to Family Tree DNA and into GEDmatch Pro and opt into law enforcement matching. Contrary to popular opinion, law enforcement doesn't have access to all DNA databases. And this identification, this IgG technology that we use, as you can see, we don't just utilize it to identify suspects. We also use it to identify victims and to provide closure to the families of missing victims. If you really want to help, please consider uploading your DNA profile into those 2 commercial databases, which allow law enforcement to access that information, but only with the consent of the consumer. Now, third, we ask that if you were around in the late 90s and early 2000s, think about the people you associated with. Think about the people you know. Did anyone of Asian descent go missing? We believe Asian doe may have been working as a sex worker around the time of their disappearance prior to 2006. We believe that they spent some time in New York City prior to their death. And we want to urge the public, don't discount someone just because you know them to be from somewhere outside of New York City. As we know, people often come to New York City for a myriad of reasons. Prior to 2006, this person had friends, possible classmates, or co-workers, and a family. Someone knows who this individual is, and we need that person or persons to contact us. So that's what we're asking. Again, with the help of the media, let's get these photos out, let's get this information out, and let's identify Asian doe. Crime Stoppers is offering a $2,500 reward for information leading to the identification of Asian doe. Anyone with information regarding this case or the identification of the victim is asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-220-TIPS, TIPS, or via email or the mobile app on the flyer. You can do so in your native language. Translation services are available. So if you have difficulty with the English language, but you have information, provide it to us in your native language, and we will translate it. Again, please share this information far and wide, and let's help get this victim identified and give this victim their name back. Prior to taking questions, I'm going to turn it over to the New York State Police. We have, as I've said, we've had Lieutenant Richard St. Preux, and he is going to introduce the Mandarin translator. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Good morning. I'm Lieutenant Richard St. Preux with the New York State Police. I cover the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. I'm introducing Trooper Shin Sung Lee, who will be translating into Mandarin.
大家早上好。今天吉尔格海滩凶杀专案组请求广大群众的帮助，来辨认一具发现于2011年11月，2011年4月4日发现的受害人遗体。受害人为亚裔男性，有可能来自于中国南方，有可能为汉族。警方认为受害人的受害时间大约在2006年或者之前。该名受害人怀疑被钝器暴力击打致死。遇害时的年龄大约在17岁到23岁之间。遗体被发现时有穿着女性服装。我们呼吁广大的华人群众能够帮助警方一起辨认这名照片中的受害人，以及受害人身上的衣物残留。如果在您认识的人当中有2006年或者之前的失联人员， 并且与照片上的受害人样貌相似，或者是服装相同的话，请务必与苏福克郡警察局联系。我们有提供中文服务。受害人遇害时还只是青少年，在这里我们呼吁广大的华人群众能够积极的在亲友和社区之中传播我们所提供的信息，以便我们可以早日确认这位受害人的身份信息，给受害人一个公道。谢谢大家。
Thank you, Lieutenant, and thank you, Trooper Lee. With that, I'll open it up to questions. Does anybody have any questions? So, we have a bail document which details some of the internet searches done by the defendant, and some did contain searches using similar terms that you just described. Anything else? So yeah, it's a violent death, blunt force trauma, which led to the individual's death. So this was a violent assault resulting in the defendant's death.
Mr. Attorney, is there anybody, like a forensic scientist or someone who's speaking to the difficulty of bringing this image?
No, we don't have anyone there, but basically what it is the forensic anthropologists, forensic artists, they start at the skull, and then using the characteristics of the skull, they essentially create, and using their training, of course, they create the diagram of the individual. So we believe this is the most accurate possible depiction of the victim.
And the language?
That was the language that the trooper, I'm sorry, Mandarin.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think you never say never. We've seen the way that the DNA technology has evolved. So we do have DNA, and so we're working with it. I'll get you in a second.
How rare is it for somebody not to be identified for such a long period of time that no one has come forward and said they think that it's a career? How rare is that?
It's
That's a
not
good question.
unheard of, especially when you're talking about a crime of this nature, and when you're talking about a community that's an immigrant community that tends to be insular. So again, we think a lot of times, and again, this person we believe was brought from outside the jurisdiction into the jurisdiction. So when you combine all those things, it's not that unusual. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we send out the information far and wide, not just to Suffolk County, not just to New York, but across the country and across the world. Yeah, I'm sorry, Greg.
Were there any similarities in the way that this body was disposed of with those that were left nearby? And are you considering Rex Heuermann a suspect in this case?
So if you look at where it was situated, I think it was about 300 or so feet from Megan Waterman in that same stretch of Parkway. So it's between Megan Waterman and Jessica Taylor. And as we've said all along, each one of these victims, it's a separate crime scene. Start from that separate crime scene, and you work your way up, which we're doing. And it's all nice to speculate, but it basically doesn't matter until you can bring charges, and we're certainly not at that stage. Well, I think probably what you're referencing is specifically with regard to the Gilgo 4. Those were uniquely, they were almost identical, and they're unique from the other bodies. There's always evidence at the scene, and we're analyzing that evidence, and if it bears fruit and results in charges, we'll talk about it at that time. I'm not entirely certain. I know specifically that that this victim was clad in the clothes that we've described. I don't know what that means. We start from our victim. We start from our crime scene. We work our way out, and we don't talk about it until we're able to charge someone. There's always physical evidence, and you work through the physical evidence. You utilize the various modalities. Those modalities are changing, evolving, so it's a continuing process. And until that process is complete, you don't discuss it. So we're not at that stage where we're prepared to discuss it. But there's always a myriad of physical evidence at any scene. It's just whether or not it's relevant or not, or it's able to be tested. Yes. He was not wrapped in burlap. Nope.
And what about internet searches from Heuermann? Did any searches correlate to this victim?
Well, I would just ask that you look at the bail document, because we have a number of searches with regard to searches that could arguably be related to this victim, as well as the Gilgo Beach investigation and the discovery of bodies on Gilgo in general. Sure. Well, that's it's the public, and some, I think when you talk about, immigrant communities from outside of Suffolk County and a body found inside Suffolk County in general, you wouldn't be all that surprised in having difficulty to identify this particular victim. And then, there are all those other factors as well. So, not completely unsurprising that we've not been able to identify the victim. But the most important thing is that we identify that victim, regardless of the outcome of any criminal case, just to provide that victim and their family with, give the victim his or her name back, and provide the family with closure. It's based upon our investigation, which I'm not going to get into. Yeah, these were done through NCMEC, and that was a fairly involved process. We really appreciate their assistance. Obviously, it's a painstaking process, and it took some time. So, once we had the information available, and also the DNA, the specific genealogy DNA, we wanted to provide it to the public, because we think it'll help the investigation and help to identify this individual. Okay. Thank you all so much. Thanks for coming.
Interesting, guys. So that concludes the press conference. Yeah, I would just lower the volume so you guys aren't getting your ears blown out right now. But so there's a couple things that they say here that I think were a little bit interesting. Obviously, from the articles that we've read earlier, there are some things that they just kind of repeated that we've been known before this press conference, but it's good to hear it anyway. Hear it again. All right. But there are some things. I mean, they've been doing the due diligence and, just trying to find out exactly who this person is. And they're trying to find this guy, they're trying to identify this individual. And of course, anybody who knows this person, that knew an Asian male, between the ages of 17 to 23 years old, around that time that he went missing, because remember, they said it was between, hold on, I'm just pulling this article up again. so I can get that correct. I mean, he was found in 2011, April 2011. Okay. But they believe that he had perished in around 2007. Okay. Just around 2006, 2007. Okay. So that's what they're saying. They even said it was 5 years that he had been laying out there in the Gilgo Beach area for 5 years before he was actually found. Okay. So yeah, this is a young guy, between the ages of 17 to 23. They say he is of Han Chinese descent. Okay. And so they were asking, of course, anybody that may have known an Asian male around 2005, 2006 that just ended up missing, between the ages of 17 to 23 years old. They actually also have, let me pull this up too. They also have his photo, or not his photo, but a drawing, okay, a rendering of of who he could actually look like. This is the only one I could find online right now while that press conference was happening, because apparently they have another one with him with long hair, because you never know when he met with alleged Rex Heuermann, because he's still not connected. Just a quick heads up, okay, just a reminder, he is not connected to the Gilgo Beach unalivings as of yet. He gonna be part of it. He's definitely going to be a part of it, or they are definitely going to be a part of it. Let's just be completely real. Okay. It's inevitable, but they need to make sure that this Asian doe is actually, they need to identify the person before they actually can before they can actually find out, or I guess make more connections to this whole thing. But no matter what, this Asian male, or this Asian individual that goes by Asian, they call them Asian doe right now. They do not know their name. They do not have any idea who this person is right now. Okay. And it's pretty crazy, because I mean, let's be real. The height of this individual, and I'm sure short and petite, which is kind of Rex Heuermann's MO. All right. Young, short, shorter of stature. He was 5'6". Okay. Again, of Asian descent. They say Han of, I guess, Han Chinese descent. Of course, if I mean, no disrespect if I'm quoting these things wrong. I just wrote these in notes really, really quick. Okay. But this individual suffered in a terrible, terrible demise, blunt force trauma, especially, definitely to the head. He was wearing women's clothing. Okay. And they went into detail on what the remains were found, like what he was wearing when he was found. Okay. Of course, they urged anybody who may know this person, or is maybe a family member that may be connected to this young individual, to maybe go and go to your get a DNA test type thing. Maybe there's a connection there. Maybe they can find him through that as well. But again, this is somebody who was also found 3 feet away from Megan Waterman as well, in the same area as all the other victims there too. He's been sitting there again for 5 years. Okay. So he perished 5 years before his remains were actually found. Okay. Which is crazy. And then you got to remember, it's now 2024, and his remains were found already deteriorated, etc. His remains were found in 2011, y'all. 2011. So that's some crazy stuff too. Now, the thing is, though, Green Eyed, that's a good question to ask as far as arrest records. But how can they find out about this individual if they don't have his name? Now, I get it. that maybe they could just go through a slew of different arrest records, but that's a lot of arrest records. But then again, let's be real, they got nothing but time to go through those things. So that could be possible, going through arrest records just to see if this particular individual was actually arrested at any time soliciting or anything else, right? So there's a possibility of that too. There's a possibility, excuse me. That is a good option. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. So that is a good possibility that maybe, just maybe, he got a rap sheet, maybe a criminal record, and maybe by them going through, maybe that's something that they can do. But I don't know, right? God only knows. But again, they still don't know who this person is. They're still trying to find out who this person is, and they're trying to connect all the dots. Again, this man did this. Okay? Okay? Gilgo Baggins, as I like to call him, most definitely did this for sure. Let's not forget his notes. Let's not forget his journals where he was putting in notes on how to do better, trying to improve, to be the ultimate predator out there, right? The ultimate monster. This is somebody for sure that did all this stuff. And there's no way that this Asian doe is not connected to the Rex Heuermann case. There is no way. Like I said, let me remind you, he took notes, y'all. Rex Heuermann took notes. We went through the paperwork. We went through the documents. It was absolutely appalling. Constantly writing down on how to be better, fixing and righting the wrongs that he was doing while righting the wrongs of the wrongs that he was doing. Does that make any sense? Hopefully it does. But that's scary. And again, this person could also be an immigrant. This person, this Asian doe, may not have been born in America, right? Traveled here to America to live life, and of course was out here soliciting. That's a possibility as well. So I do appreciate the fact that they brought in someone to speak in Mandarin, to speak out to anybody else, because you got to remember, there may be people in China that are watching, that are concerned about their loved one, that still don't know where that person went. And the other thing too is like, okay, maybe looking at it's a lot to look into, but the possibility of looking into the databases of any missing people around that time, right? People going, hey, we're looking for our son, whatever the name might be, we're looking for our son, John. We don't know where he is, right? But then maybe over time, that family of, or those friends give up trying to find that person, right? Or you never know. This person could have been riding solo. I don't know. But like I said, it's just very interesting how this is all transpired, how this all has broken down. Again, I do appreciate that the DA is doing everything they can to find out what's going on with all of these individuals, all of these victims, because just because they're S workers does not mean that their lives aren't precious too. And I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of these cases, because I really do think that there's other cases outside of just the Gilgo Beach area with this man. I think because they're so used to just looking at, oh yeah, she's an S worker, they're expendable. That those kinds of cases, missing person cases, these these unalivings, so on and so forth, they just get swept under the radar because they just feel like no one gives a damn, no one cares, so we don't care. Moving on to the next thing, right? So hopefully by them bringing this up, showing this rendering, maybe it'll spark something in somebody's mind, like, yeah, I knew a guy back then as such and such name. Maybe it's him. I mean, regardless, yes, it's a long time ago, but anything is possible here. And yeah, and yes, I'll say this too. The rendering, okay, this may not even look like the dude. You never know, right? But at the same time, at least they're taking efforts in trying to find out who this person is and how this person is connected to Rex Heuermann. Again, this man is a monster. And I'm telling you, this man had something to do with this. There's no way that another person just decides, yeah, I'm just going to drop off all my, remains, all of my victims' remains, all across the Long Island Beach area. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm just gonna do that. No, that is not. It's not. Okay. This man did this. This man's connected to this, and until I hear something different, that's what I'm gonna think. Okay. Until I hear something different. The other thing, yes, Hollis, I think it's really important that the genealogy, the DNA, is really important. So anybody out there that may think that they are connected to this individual, not to the actual unalivings, okay, but connected to this unidentified Asian male that he is going by the name of Asian Doe, please submit your DNA. You never know. There may be somebody that you just think, yeah, I haven't seen that person in decades. My cousin, my, whatever, nephew, whatever it may be, right? Please submit your DNA because that could connect and be able to find out who this person is so that this particular individual gets the justice they rightfully deserve. So this genealogy stuff has been doing wonders. It's caught many, many people. All right. Everything from Brian Koberger. I know some of y'all think he innocent, but still that helped get him caught. Okay. To the Rachel Morin situation with that monster getting caught. Okay. While he's sitting there at the bar, suavemente, you know what I mean? He's having a great time. But because of that DNA, they were able to catch that monster who could have just been running around out here in America causing more crimes, right? And that's just the tip of the iceberg of how great this genealogy stuff has been, right? It's been helping so many things. So if you believe that you may be connected to this guy genetically, submit DNA. Okay. They said go to, if I'm correct, Family Tree. All right. And you could do that there. All right. Yeah, Brian Koberger is guilty as hell. I don't give a damn. Some people are like, well, no. And then they're just willing to die on this hill. And I'm like, nah, that man did that. I don't care. All right. That's a whole other conversation in itself. We haven't talked about Coco in a while. We really haven't talked about Coco in a while, but there really hasn't been much big things going on, in my personal opinion. He's moved venues. He went to another town and all that stuff. Whoop-de-woo. To me, it doesn't matter. I think they can do this case on Pluto, and there's going to be a lot of people that know about Coco's case. Sorry, it's going to be very difficult for Coco to have a jury that doesn't know a damn thing. Okay. Just in my personal opinion. All right. It's still going to be hot. It's still going to be heat everywhere. Okay. Everywhere. But yeah. And Coco got a new headshot. He's got his new glamour shot done. It's a mug shot that just recently came out. But anyway, real talk. It is very, 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 very important. Okay. To remember that the genealogy could help tremendously. They were able to do a lot with very little, even rendering a photo of this man, of this Asian Doe. Again, they say he's between 17 to 23 years old. He is of course, Chinese descent. They say he suffered a terrible, terrible demise, blunt force trauma. He's a biological male, but may have identified as female back then. He was found in Gilgo Beach. He was found wearing women's clothing. Okay. He was found 3 feet away from Megan Waterman's remains. This is the other part. He was not wrapped in burlap. Now, the thing I want to point out is you got to remember, if he was found 5 years before he was found, right? If he was found 5 years after he was unalived, there's a possibility that that's 5 years of the Gilgo Beach monster perfecting his craft, for lack of a better term. I don't mean craft like, that I approve this message. Hell no. But if you really think about it, this man is taking this very, very seriously, to the point where he's writing down in journals, putting in information, going, oh, less this, more of that, do this. Ooh, check out a black female or black male, or you know what I mean? Like, he was writing down notes, all right? And he was taking notes. Who's to say that back then, this was one of the first of the many, but one of the first of the many to lose their life. And he was like, later on, he's like, well, I got these burlap sacks. Like I said, he's always changing something. He's always adjusting. He's always making notes and going, okay, that didn't work. So I'm going to do this instead. So he writes that down and he changes the script. Minor tweaks as time goes on, right? So maybe in the very beginning, this could have been one of his very first victims for this area, right? But then again, like I said, he's been on a rampage. He was on a rampage. And I think he still was on a rampage even before he got arrested, okay? And, but I do think that maybe he was like, okay, I got these burlaps. Let me use this. This is easier. This will help move things around, so on and so forth, right? So that's what it is. Nadia, yes, that's my nickname for Brian Koberger. I call him Coco, all right? Yes, I do. So again, very interesting stuff. So again, if you know of anybody that you knew back then that was around that age, around that time that he went missing, about 2005, 2006 time, yeah, speak up, okay? Speak up. I think that's really important, to get the word out and let people know what the hell is going on. I'm really hoping that we get somebody out here that saw this press conference or this information, this video or other videos, and they realize, oh my Lord, I did know a guy. He did disappear, and I've been wondering where he has been. Or it could be a family member, especially the family members. Okay? No family out there wondering where their kid is? 17 to 23 years old, you're telling me he don't have loved ones anywhere? Which is still a possibility, though, too. Let's be real. Okay? Which is unfortunate. They get born into a familyless life. That's possible. That's very possible. So we'll see what happens here, guys. Hopefully we get some more information here very, very soon. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. Like I said, if you know anything, please speak up. All right? Don't be afraid. Hopefully we get some more information and some truths out here. Cree Design, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Rianne, thank you so much for gifting 1 membership. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. And whoever got that membership, please do me a favor. Pay it forward if you can. Pay it forward, all right? But here is Asian Dough. If you know anything, please speak up, all right? But it's time to get going. I'll be talking to you guys very soon. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that follow button. Follow, please. All right? Don't forget to check out that subscribe button down below if you're watching on my YouTube channel. Go to my secondary channel too, the Pascal Show clips. Go subscribe over there too. Hit that join button down below. Support the channel. Check out Patreon. And of course, I got my pascalmerch.com. Go check those things out, and I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. All right. Remember, this young individual needs justice too. All right. So if you know anything, speak up. Anyway, guys, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.